Hi, 4th grade. I wanted to record this video for you and just go over today's math problems and lesson for a review so that you can look back and get some help if you need it tonight. So we looked at partial products and then moving that to the standard algorithm, and we did use our area models. So I'm going to go ahead and set up the first problem. 35 times 26. Okay, so we have 35 times 26, and in our area model, we're going to break the 20 and the 6 apart, just using place value, and the same with the 30 and the 5. I'll start in the upper right-hand corner. 6 times 3 tens, or 6 times 30, is 180, and 6 times 5 is 30. I'm going to move down to the 20. 20 times 30, or 2 tens, times 3 tens is 600. Then 20 times 5, 100. Alright, now let's look at the partial products in the multiplication problem set up vertically. 6 times 5 is 30, and we see that comes from the area of this square right here, or rectangle. And then 6 times 3 tens is 180. And again, that comes from the top row here. Then I'm going to go down into the bottom row. 20, or 2 tens, times 5 comes from this square right here, and that is 100. And then 2 tens times 3 tens, or 20 times 30, comes from here, and that is 600. Then I'm just going to add up my columns here. 8 plus 3 is 11, carry the 1, and 6 plus 3 is 9. 910 using my partial products. Now let's set it up using the standard algorithm. Okay, so when I'm using the standard algorithm, I'm going to think of 35 as a whole, but I'm still going to break up the 26 into 6 ones and 2 tens. So I'm going to look at my multiplication problem set up vertically on the right here, and I'm going to first look at it and address the multiplication as 6 times 35. And we can see in the area model here that I've set up 6 times 35, and I'm just going to carry that out as if it's a 2 by 1 digit multiplication problem. So 6 times 5 is 30. I'm going to carry that 3 up, and 6 times 3 is 18, plus 3, 21. So the area of that upper rectangle is 210 units. On my standard algorithm multiplication problem here on the right, I'm going to do the same thing. 6 times 5, 30, carry my 3. 6 times 3 is 18, 210. Then I'm going to move to the second row, and I'm going to treat that as 20 times 35. I know that 0 times any number is 0, so I'm just going to bring that 0 down and then move to the 2. I don't need to form 2 rows to do this multiplication problem. 2 times 5 is 10. I'm going to write that 0 here and carry the 1. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1, 7. So now I see the area of that lower rectangle, 700 units. Now I'm going to come over here to my standard algorithm, and I'm going to do the same thing. Since I'm starting from the tens place here with my 2 tens, I'm going to write the multiplication problem directly below that, but I can put in a placeholder. I can put a 0 in right here so that I know that I'm working from the tens place. I don't have any units there that I'm multiplying by. So 2 tens times 5 is going to be 100, but I'm going to carry that 1. 2 times 5 is 10. I'm going to put the 0, carry the 1. 2 times 3 tens, or 2 tens times 3 tens is 6 tens plus 1, 7 hundreds. And then I'm going to just add my columns, and I get 910. And if I go back to my partial products, I see the area of this. If I were to add 180 plus 30, I'd get 210. And when I come down here and I look at the area of these two rectangles together, then I would add these two numbers, and I would find that I have 700. And we can see how that compares to the standard algorithm. So let's try this again with another problem. Okay, so in this problem we have 67 multiplied by 43. And we're going to go through and look at the partial products. So it would start off across the top row. 3 times 60 is 180. And 3 times 7 is 21. Now 40 times 60, I have 4 tens times 6 tens. 4 times 6 is 24, and then I have my 10 times 10, which is another 100. 100 times 24. Another way for me to break this down and look at it and see why that is 2,400, not 240, which is a common mistake. Then I have 40 times 7. Well, 4 times 7 is 28. That's 28 tens. So this would be 280. And I should be able to look down to my multiplication problem here and see 3 times 7 partial products is 21, and then 3 times 6 tens is 180. And those two come from this top row here. Then I'm going to go to my 4 tens right here. 4 times 7 is 28 tens, or 280. And then 4 tens times 6 tens is 2,400. And that comes from this row here for these two. Then I'm just adding up, and the first column, 1, 8 and 8 is 16, plus 2, 18. Put my 8, carry my 1. 4, 2 is 6, plus 1, 7. Another one, 8. And then bring down my 2,000. So 2,881 using partial products. Now I'm going to come over and do this with the standard algorithm. First thing I'm doing is looking at 3 right here times 67. So I multiply that out. 3 times 7, 1, carry my 2. 3 times 6 is 18, plus 2, 20. Then I'm going to put in the placeholder here, 0. I'm going to move to my 4 tens. So I know that the first rectangle here is 201 units. Now for the second rectangle, 40 times 67. 4 times 7 is 28. Put in my 8, carry the 2, and 4 times 6, 24, plus 2, 26. And then I'm just going to add. First column is 1, 10's place 8, 6 plus 2 is 8, and then bring down the 2, 2,881. 81. So this rectangle, the lower rectangle, the area of that was 2,680 units. And if I add these two numbers on the bottom of the partial products together, it will equal, and the same thing is true on the top. Standard algorithm gives me a little bit quicker way to do the multiplication. So please try that out, use this as an example, and we'll see how you did on the rest of the problem set tomorrow morning. Have a good evening.